Hello, I'm Big G Video, and in this episode of the Toy Photography Podcast, I'm going to be talking about macro mode on this iPhone 13 Pro. Because I bought an old iPhone 13 Pro and it has macro mode on it, and we're going to talk about that from a toy photography perspective. Aha! So this is an iPhone 13 Pro. It's obviously quite old and I obviously bought it refurbished, but I am really pleased to find it's got a macro mode on. So I'm going to sit this figure up like so. I'm going to stand him up, or I'm going to do something with him so he stays in the right place and doesn't move. I think that's going to do like that. So what you can see here in this part of the screen is, as I go close, you get this macro icon pop up, and then you see this very subtle shift like so. And I can get really quite close with the macro lens on this, and I can take pictures and I can also take video. Now you can see here just how close I'm getting, and it's in focus. Now I have the Final Cut app for this iPhone 13 Pro, and you can't do macro on it. You can't do macro in the same way. So this makes me think this is using the telephoto or something really quite clever between the telephoto and the standard lens. Somehow something's happening. So I'm going to record this. Before I start recording, I have to get it into the macro mode, because if I do this, it just isn't going to happen. So when I put on cinematic, or I'm going to go back to photo actually, or portrait, I'm going to go close. It says move further away, so it doesn't work with the portrait. Yep, certainly doesn't work with the portrait. Now because it doesn't work with the portrait, it really reinforces my belief that this has something to do with the telephoto lens. So could you see on screen that really subtle shift? I'm going to lift it up slightly. You see that really subtle shift? It's just like it's moving to a slightly different camera, which again really makes me think this is actually the telephoto and some really advanced sort of computational stuff going on. So I can get really, really close. Now I'm going to lift this. Go away, Siri. I'm going to lift this up so you can just see how close I am. That's how close I am. And you can see that's the footage. Well, that's the image we're getting from this. So I'm really close. I'm just going to click to focus. I'm going to take this picture in macro mode. Now, one thing I do have here, right at the top, is RAW, because this is a Pro iPhone. So can I get photos using macro in RAW? Yes, I can. So this is going to be a RAW photo. Excellent, there we go. So I think this is going to be immensely useful for me in my toy photography, being able to get really close and use macro. I don't really rate the telephoto lens, although it is useful, because here you can see this is actually going to be quite useful for getting toy photography photos, because it's got a 3x zoom. But if I go really close, it just goes into macro. So I feel like it's sort of macro on the telephoto here. So if I put away like that, and then if I go close, and I can focus on this. So I've got sort of the standard macro, and I've got this telephoto macro. I don't know which one's best at the moment, but I know I can take both of these using RAW photos. So I think I'm going to have a great deal of fun using this iPhone 13 Pro and doing some macro work with it and toy photography work with it. And again, this isn't the most advanced phone out there. This is just an old iPhone 13 Pro, but it will be really good for my toy photography. Let me know if you use an iPhone Pro for any toy photography or macro work. Thank you. Goodbye.